with David Conte of the New Jersey Devils. Mr. Conte, it's been well documented that you guys don't have the pick that you wanted, but you still got the first round pick. It's 30. Does that hinder what you guys wanted to do at the start of the year?
Not at the beginning of the year. Obviously, for the draft, it factors in where you put your emphasis of your investigations, but it is what it is. Whether I agree with it, think it's fair or unfair, really doesn't matter. It's where I'm going to pick, and that's my job, and we'll do the best we can with it.
Does it make it harder that you can't trade that pick and maybe move up if you liked a guy?
Probably. Yes, it probably does make it more difficult, but it's not really nice to feel that you're getting beat on, but again, I'll pick when I'm told to pick, and we'll do the best we can again with it. Yeah.
A lot of people say that this isn't a top end draft in terms of talent, but to me it feels like it's a draft where there's a lot of players that seem like they would have a good NHL future. Is that something that might be considered accurate?
That's fair enough, because every draft obviously has that. I think that when they talk about the high end, that's for your benefit. The profile media frenzy around certain guys that have a certain charisma or cachet or whatever it may be, but for the rest of us, it's a more difficult process. Therefore, if you do the right thing, you make progress on the other teams. So in that respect, the importance of what we do is magnified, and I think we should all take that as a challenge and a challenge we should be excited about, because it's not a consensus draft. It's not like you're picking the next guy that's on your list. It's on the next guy on the team's list that's done the work, that's been out there and in Saskatoon when it's minus 40. It's the people that are really doing the work that people have no understanding what goes into it. They can read all they want about red line and all these reports, but the people that are out there doing it have paid a big price to come to the conclusions they come to, and I think they should be excited about making the right choice where they can make progress on the teams that haven't paid the price.
Is there a chance that you guys could use assets that you have in the organization without moving the pick to move up in the draft?
Absolutely. Of course it is, and of course that's true every year though. We have a plethora of very young quality defensemen, and we're a little out of balance in our depth chart, but no question. I mean, every year though we have that feeling. But we're more concerned about our team and making it better as soon as we can possibly make it better, because being out of the playoffs is not a fun thing and not something we're used to.
And you talk about the defensive prospects. You brought them up, Jelena and Adam Larson. You go to even all the way down to Steve Santini, who grabbed in the second round.
Not all the way down.
he went at a spot that people thought.
A surprise to me. That's again an example of why we should be excited about the draft. He's not somebody we thought of in that context. We said, wow, this is a bonus. We didn't necessarily want a defenseman. We wanted a quality person, and we got that.
and you got an extra draft pick out of it too, because you were able to trade down from where you were originally selecting, right?
Yeah. Not last year, I don't think it was.
Was it Santini? I thought you'd trade down to 42 to grab him.
Did we flip? I can't remember exactly. Yeah, we might have, because we were actually focused on a few different things. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think you're right.
And
I have Alzheimer's. It's getting older. It's a long time.
Well, you talk about we were talking about the defensive prospects. So does that put an emphasis? I know in New Jersey, Lou Lamoriello, best player available is
absolutely.
It
always will be too. Because one year we had Sean Burke, Chris Terreri, Kirk McLean. We had a plethora of goalies. That year, not only did we draft Martin Brodeur, we drafted Mike Dunham and Courtois.
That's true.
It's always about the best player.
It's the best player. So at your spot, I think a lot of people are thinking Brendan Lemieux is going to be there. It's just based on the bloodlines. Is there a chance that Brendan Lemieux could be a New Jersey Devil?
You have to look at it this way. We know Claude. You can take that every way you want. Love Claude, actually. I think he's a terrific guy, and as a friend and a person and somebody I feel indebted to for the great things he did for us. Of course. Stéphane Matteau, he did things to us. Some people did things for us. What are you going to do?
I think a lot of fans, when you guys drafted Stéphane Matteau Jr., were absolutely floored that this is a guy that lives in infamy.
Nothing to do with it. He was the best player.
He was the best, guys, and he has his developments really come on over the last year, especially towards the latter half of the season in the AHL. How happy are you with his progress right now?
Well, he's going to qualify for the NHL pension someday. I have great confidence in his future, and he's a really good kid. But remember, he is a kid. And then his best days are ahead of him, and then how soon they manifest themselves, well, we're going to see that. But it's probably sooner than later.
And you have a few kids that are almost at that age where they're not kids anymore. Matthias Tedeschi, guy that you drafted in 08 at 24. What are their futures in New Jersey?
Well, I'm a little frustrated by that because I would hope it would have manifested better, and that is a problem because either we're doing a bad job in selecting them, we're doing a bad job in developing, whatever it may be, there is a problem because they should be better. Or they should be contributing more. And what the problem is, that's for Lou to determine. And we're all accountable. And I'm the first one to say it. I have great confidence in Matthias Tedeschi. I have great confidence in all the players we've drafted, basically. I think they're great people. I think they're giving their best effort. There's nobody I'm disappointed in that area. If it doesn't manifest itself on the team, well, there has to be a reason for it.
Now, there's an emphasis on defense in New Jersey. Everyone knows that. You got to play a full 200-foot game.
Yeah.
A lot of people wonder, it doesn't make sense to draft a Matthias Tedeschi not knowing whether he can do that 200-foot game. Is it almost a detriment?
Of course he can. He's a young guy. He's a small guy. We knew this when we took him. He's a dynamic player. There's assets and there's liabilities. And you need to maximize the assets and compensate for the liabilities. That's the way it is. Nobody's perfect.
Another young Swede on your team, Jacob Josephson, seems like every time he starts to get a little bit of confidence and figures it out, great player, but it seems like he always gets injured at the inopportune moment.
It's another issue, and they are the critical part of our future, and it hasn't been what anyone expected or that they expected. And again, we need to analyze that why. And again, as I said, it's critical that we have young players to supplant the guys that have been great, and we have some great players that. I think Patrick Ellis may only play 10 more years, but it's all about that. That's the nature of the beast. But this organization has survived losing great players. They retire. Scott Stevens, Ken Danico, Scott Niedermeyer Lee, Zach Parisi. We've survived all this, and we're going to survive again because we're going to do the best we can to make the best team we can.
Now, there's a lot of guys that were playing in the playoffs this season, going deep, still playing in the playoffs, that came through the New Jersey Devils system. Does that make you proud to see that these guys, even though they're not where, they're not in New Jersey, but they're doing well elsewhere?
Certainly. This is a business. There's nothing personal. There's a lot personal in the fact that I think they're great. They're good people. We put a great emphasis on people that we think are good people that will work hard, that do have character. We put a great emphasis on trying to ascertain that, and I do. Do I feel bad? Losing Zach Parisi, I do. Am I happy for Zach Parisi? Absolutely. He's everything I admire in a hockey player. I wish he was with us. But it is a business, and I have to accept that, and I do accept that.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's one player out there right now playing, still in the playoffs, last minute of the game yesterday, Chicago and LA last night. Johnny Oduya is out on the ice over Duncan Keith and Brent Seabrook at that moment. How proud does that make you to see Johnny Oduya killing off the last minute one goal?
It does, because I really like Johnny as a person, but it should make a guy like Danny LeBrotten feel good because he was so supportive of this guy when nobody wanted him. I think it speaks so well of Danny. It speaks so well of Lou to support Danny, to go get him like we got him. I'm thrilled to death for Johnny. I don't know if you ever got to talk to him, but he's an effervescent, bubbly, enthusiastic guy. He's the type of guy he is. Everything that we look for to draft New Jersey Devils, well, we got him after the fact when nobody else cared. And I'm really happy about that. I'm happy for Johnny. Are you kidding?
Is there any chance of maybe grabbing some guys that are free agents? Is the college route still a viable option for the New Jersey Devils?
Well, there's college in Europe, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we had a couple that we had serious interest in that we didn't get. That's the way it goes. You're competing with 30 people, and again, I'll look forward to them having good careers.
So if a defenseman is available at 30, you guys wouldn't make any hesitation whatsoever to grab him if you felt he was the best guy.
We might hesitate, but yeah, absolutely, no problem with that.
And you emphasize the character. I think a lot of people know that, but when a young player at the Combine comes into your room, do you let them know right off the bat that this is what we're looking for, or do you let them make that decision?
That's a familiarization program, and this is a great opportunity to, like we met with Sam Reinhart, we met with Sam Bennett, we met with Leandre Settle. We met with those players because it's the one chance we have to meet with them. without being really bad or having a chance to trade for things. Yeah, absolutely. No, we don't ever get into that. We want to know them. That this interview process is not about us; it's about them.
What about Michael Dalcole? Did you guys have a chance to talk to him?
Yeah, we love Italians.
Yeah, of course, with Mr. Lamoriello, absolutely. Is there anybody that sticks out to you in this draft that a lot of people aren't talking about, but really impressed you with their development?
I can't wait to tell them. Talk to me on July 1st.
A guy like maybe Hunter Smith that wasn't even ranked. Did you guys start noticing him at all? It seems like.
Of course we did. And he's Motor City Smitty's nephew. I mean, how can you not? Gotta have somebody to hang out with. We did. Of course we did. He wasn't that unnoticed.
No,
trust me, he wasn't.
When somebody is
6'6", you notice him.
Yes, absolutely, and that's the next thing I was going to say is that when he's that big, does it almost make it like we have to draft him because he can skate at that size and feel like, man, this would be a guy that we'd love to plug into any lineup?
We don't have to draft anybody, but we certainly will draft somebody, and that 6'6" is certainly an attractive quality. Enough said about that stuff. I mean, everybody knows this. I think sometimes this will get dramatized. The other 29 teams are not stupid people, and they're all working hard. I have greatest respect for my competitors. I know what they do because I see them out there. And they're not doing it here. They're doing it. They're doing it behind closed doors. So I never think that because the NHL.com thinks the guy's going to go in the second round that he's going to go in the second round.
Absolutely. How tough have the last obviously there was a Stanley Cup run in 2012, but the last few years have been lean years in New Jersey, missing the playoffs. How tough has that been as a team?
My wife put bars on the bedroom window. No, of course it's tough. We're used to it. We don't like it. I really dislike it and want to do something about it. We're doing the best we can. It's parity. It's free agency. Who would be our best players somewhere else because of it? No question about that. But can we get somebody else's best player? I guess. I hope. But it's a different landscape. It isn't guys playing with the same team for 20 years that I would like it to be. I don't like the situation. I don't think the fans are rewarded in the same context they should be. They invest in their best favorite player, and their favorite player can be gone. I don't like rotisserie baseball.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can tell you who started for the 1967 Boston Red Sox. I can't tell you who starts for them today.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's not my idea of sports, but it is what I deal with, and I'll deal with it as best I can.
Is it frustrating, you look at the advanced statistics, it's starting to get a little bit of play in the mainstream, and New Jersey is amongst the league leaders in things like Corsi and Fenwick, and they're amongst the only teams that don't make the playoffs. Does that get a little frustrating knowing that you're one of the best possession teams, but the puck doesn't seem to find its way into the back of the net?
I don't read that stuff because I think it's all cosmetic. I don't think it means anything. Do you win your battles? Do you win the game? What you do when it doesn't matter isn't nearly as important what you do when it does matter. I think analytics, and they have a great place in certain things, but the sampling of hockey is a little different. It's mano a mano. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I agree with all of that, and we're certainly trying to utilize that. But what's it mean? That's history. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Would you say that hockey is too random to quantify in terms of those kind of statistics?
I would, but I think there are things you can quantify. I think there's a lot of things that can be used for. Unfortunately, I think it's a lot of people telling me what I already know. I know when guys they're not good in the last minute. I know that. I've been watching them for 30 years. I know that. But I know certain players are exceptional and you can count on. And I also know that when you make a great shot and hits the post and goes one way, and you make a great shot and the post and goes the other way, it's a big difference.
What can you say about the progression, I guess I should say, of Adam Larsson? Obviously 4th overall pick, but he's bounced around back and forth.
Hopefully it's a maturation. I wish I had a really good explanation for it. I have the greatest faith in Adam. If someone said to me, would you trade it? I would not. I want to make this work. He's a great kid. He's a great talent. I don't think he's ever been bad.
No.
I watch him play. I don't think he's ever had a bad game that I would say he makes mistakes like anybody, but I have the greatest faith in Adam as a person and as a player. And it's going to be asked, of course, and I'm okay with that, and I'm sure Adam is too, but he gives his best every day. If he's not a good player, it's my fault.
And now, you know, there's he's not waiver exempt anymore, so it seems like this is.
Yeah, but I mean that part of that was, you know, obviously that there's a business of this too, and that's Lou's job. But if you're asking me if I support him, I do. Do I think he's a great player? I think he's going to be a great player. Has he had the chance to do it? Well, in and out. We don't advance in the Stanley Cup playoffs. He comes in the third game or something, he scores a great goal against Philly. It turns the game around.
Absolutely.
He's 19 years old. But he has that composure and that willingness to compete, and he holds himself to the highest of standards, which may work against him.
Do you think the loss of Larry Robinson to San Jose had something to do with his regression a little bit the next year?
I don't know if he regressed either, but yeah, absolutely. Anytime you lose Larry Robinson, that's a loss. Larry's one of the finest people, one of the best teachers I've ever known. As great a player he was, he's just as good a teacher.
And it seems like Larson gets involved in the same thing as Josephson. It's the injuries. Is there any way that you can prevent that from happening, where it seems like as soon as he figures it out, the injury comes again? The PK Subban hit, unfortunate in his rookie year.
I majored in English and sociology, so I know I can't have an answer for you.
Absolutely. So it's, you know, we're hoping that the draft obviously turns around for you guys. Is it frustrating to see the New York Rangers in the Stanley Cup Finals? Is that something that you guys are like, I can't believe they're there?
We have a lot of arguments about that. Gordy Clark's a good friend of mine who does this job for the Rangers, and I think the world over, I'm happy for him. If we can't win, whoever wins, as long as they deserve it, that's all I can say. I mean, yeah, it is. I think it's out of our control. You know, my congratulations and compliments to them for doing this. I mean, this is a game. You win sometimes, you lose sometimes. I'm just glad I won sometimes.
Absolutely. Now, the draft is such a crapshoot, but there's one year that stands out, especially to me in particular. You guys had picks 51 and 53 in 02. You grabbed Anton Khadikhin and Barry Talixon, and 54 goes Duncan Keith. When you see that you guys had those two picks and then see Keith and then what he becomes, do you sit there and go, oh my goodness?
I never do that, but I'm really not liking you right now.
Well, I mean, that's the exact thing. It's the crapshoot. You never know how they develop in any place.
Another one we thought very highly of at the time was Jerry Hoodler, and he went later. So you say, of course, you can go back on that forever.
Yeah, it's so.
I like to talk to the other 19 teams ahead of us before Martin Brodeur.
Absolutely, and you guys got to trade down. You grabbed extra picks just to grab them.
It was an interesting dynamic. And we, again, like I said, we weren't looking for a goalie.
And how happy are you with the progression of Anthony Brodeur? He spent a rookie year in Gatineau.
He did great, and he's just like his dad. He's well brought up. He's a tremendous young man, and how it'll work for him, well, he's going to determine that. He didn't get to play all that he would have liked, but he will next year, and then that's when he'll determine his own future. But he's, of course, I mean, that was one of the heartwarming, great experiences I've ever had doing this. To have Marty there the way we did, and it wasn't planned. No. It was very spontaneous, and well, it might have been planned by other people, but it was spontaneous for me.
Are we going to see the same thing in 2015 with Jeremy Brodeur, perhaps?
Probably. No, I don't know. I'm hoping I have a job. We got to make the playoffs.
Well, that's exactly it. And you were saying that you're getting older now. How many years does David Conte feel like he has left to give to the organization and to the league?
To the league, I don't feel anything for the league. They screwed us this year. I mean, I don't feel good about that one. But no, for the team, I have great loyalties to the team, particularly to Lou Lamoriello. I mean, the things he's done for me and my family are astronomical, particularly to the memory of Dr. McMullen, who I have the greatest respect and admiration for. And our new owners, I don't know them yet, but I think they impress me. That they're not
too hands-on.
Well, I think they're very hands-on. I want that. I really want that. I think that's a good thing. And I think they are, but more with Lou than with me. How many years I have? I don't see myself ever retiring, but clearly, I mean, there's a demands of this job that people have no understanding of. None. Not our owners, not anybody. The sacrifice, the things, the travel you make, the times you're away from them. They don't have any idea. It's not fun all the time. This is fun. The draft is fun. When your team's in the playoff, it's fun. But for the most part, training camp is fun when you're with the kids now. But it's a very detached and very difficult job that people should respect. And I loved watching the movie of the Secret Lives of Walter Mitty. And at the end, it says, for all the people that made this possible, that's what Scouts are. Nobody knows who they are.
No, that's exactly
That was the metaphor of it. And I thought it was really I didn't expect that. I didn't know I was actually watching on a plane going to Europe.
How happy are you with a guy like Adam Henrique? You grab him in the 3rd round, and he just develops into a special player, especially this year at the second half. He really turned it on.
Well, that's a really loaded question. I mean, obviously happy with him. I mean, he's one of the great success stories. Am I surprised? Not particularly. Maybe to the extent of his successes, but Adam has been a big game player forever. This is not a secret to anybody. I have the picture on my wall at home where he scored against the Rangers in overtime. I mean, he was out there, and he was out there for a reason, and that was the reason.
I actually have that same picture. It's autographed by Adam. I got a chance to meet him.
He won't sign mine, but we'll have to trade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, he has, but he didn't know it.
Okay.
And it's ironic because at that game I was sitting with Cam Jansen, and he said, "Who do you think will score?" And I said, "Adam."
Well, you guys grabbed another. Absolutely, you grabbed another guy in the 3rd round last year, Ryan Kujawinski.
Yeah.
How happy were you with his progression in Kingston?
It was up and down. He had some injuries and things. I'm happy. He's on course. And he's a really good kid, and I thought a really good camp, and he's defining himself as a player. So it's time away. We do the best we can with this. It's really easy when if you get to draft a Connor McDavid, it's really easy. But the rest of it is a lot of work, and there's a lot of other players right around the guys you want. Like as you alluded to, the 2 guys we had, and Duncan Keith goes next, and other players. So I'm humbled by the process, challenged by it, but humbled by it, and I'm never critical of other people because I know what they go through to do it, and I know they all work hard.
Does anything surprise you anymore?
No.
No, not at all, eh?
No, not really. They don't. I mean, that's interesting. That would be my response. That's interesting because I know they did something to make that decision that I didn't do, and I guess it challenges you.
Now, I saw the first 2 times the guys doing the Wingate and they're getting yelled at. I chuckled to myself. After a while, you start feeling bad for them. What do you guys feel when you see these guys going through the rigors of that kind of thing?
I'm not a huge fan of some of this stuff because this is ascertaining the conditioning they're in, not the potential they have. So in some respects, it's not the process isn't as good as it might be. But a few years back, I had my son who was the same age as the kids being drafted. I had him do that test on Monday, and I had him do it again on Wednesday, and on Wednesday he was 20% better.
My one issue that I have with the league, and I don't know if you agree, is that it seems like if you're the 1st overall pick, you have to play in the NHL. Do you agree with that thought process?
Absolutely not. I think Tampa Bay is a great example. They're the 3rd overall pick who could have been the 1st overall pick, and he played in junior. They will reap the benefits of that. Mm-hmm.
So if the New Jersey Devils had the 1st overall pick, would they hesitate to send a guy back to junior?
Not if he should be there. We certainly would give him every opportunity, of course. And there is a marketing advantage. There is a business side of it. That would not be my decision, but absolutely not. That's the one secret of Lou Lamoriello. He does the right thing, not the politically correct thing.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you all the best of success in New Jersey, especially in the draft coming up in Philadelphia.
I hope so. I do, and I appreciate the comments. That's good. It's a wonderful business we're involved with. It's a great job. It's a tough life. But I really enjoy it. I walk around here and I see people that I have the greatest admiration and respect for on every level, professionally, personally, and to be involved in this game and in this business is a privilege.
Thank you so much.
Okay.